This is the Doom Podcast. My name is Chris. I am your host, and today we have another edition of the Top 5. And today it's with Josh Sullivan from the band Year of October. They have a new release called Wastelands. It's out now. Links are in the show notes. Go out and grab a copy. And hopefully you listened to a podcast a while ago with Felicia and Josh from Year of October. They did a track-by-track discussion of the new album Wastelands. So, yeah, we did that, and now we're on to the Top 5. So here's Josh's Top 5 right now.
And I'm going to do my Top 5 movie directors.
Interesting.
And it's a tough choice for me because me and Felicia are both huge movie nerds. And we watch a lot of films, but I think I've narrowed down my top 5 directors. So at number 5 is David Fincher, and love David Fincher's work with Fight Club, Seven, Social Network. He's a fantastic director.
Fincher, I mean, he did House of Cards too, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did House of Cards and Mindhunter.
Mindhunter. No, yeah, man. That was what was it? Did they renew that?
So they put it on a hiatus, but the reason they did is because David Fincher just signed with Netflix to do a movie. So he said in an interview I just read recently, I think that the plan is him to do the movie and then to do the next season of the show after that.
Right.
And I think he was saying, too, it gives the writers more time to write for season 3. So,
jeez,
great
man.
show.
You know what? That is I can't believe that's even number 5 because it's like you got Seven and, like you said, Social Network. Wow, Zodiac, Gone Girl. Jeez, man. That is a great. Oh, man. What do we have for number 4?
Well, number 4, I've got Christopher Nolan with like Dark Knight. But my favorite Christopher Nolan movie is Memento, his first big production. And then also, I also love like Inception and then Insomnia as well as a fantastic movie. He's so good.
Wow, I forgot about that. I forgot that he did Insomnia, or actually, I should rephrase that. I didn't know that he did that. Wow, man.
Yeah. It's Al Pacino. I love Al Pacino in that movie. He's so good, and he's kind of understated because he definitely plays the character way less Al Pacino-y than he usually does.
Right.
But great movie.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to me how he moves back and forth, Nolan, because it's funny you should say Nolan because I heard a podcast recently and they were talking about the wave of him, so he would do something like you say, like Memento, and then do like Batman, and then The Prestige, and then Dark Knight, and then Inception, and then Dark Knight Rises. Like he went back and forth. So I think that the superhero genre, or whatever you want to call it, or that it gave him the clout to keep doing these very unique, introspective mind movies to me.
Yeah, for sure. And I was it was interesting because I was a big fan of Memento, and I went to see Batman Begins, and I actually didn't know that he directed it. And because I just was like, oh, I'll go see the next Batman movie. And I remember because I was in high school and I wasn't as much into film at the time, but I saw the name and I was like, Christopher Nolan did this? I was like, that's awesome. And yeah, he really took off after doing the Batman movies. I'm glad you brought up The Prestige as well. That movie's awesome, and I feel like it doesn't get mentioned as much as it should.
Absolutely. Okay, so all right, we've gotten those two, and that is 5 and number 4.
Number 3 is going to be Quentin Tarantino. I just love all his work. I know he's Pulp Fiction obviously is a classic. And then also I love like Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, and then most recently Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think he just knocked it out of the park with that one.
Absolutely he did. And I mean, it's he's got this classic story. I love the idea that, like, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Didn't he work? He used to work in a video store, so he was always like obsessed with movies.
Yeah, he was. I think I think he's just whenever you see an interview with him, he knows more about movies than anybody else he's talking to.
Really, truly. I mean, my first introduction to him was Reservoir Dogs, obviously. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, and even the story for Natural Born Killers. I just like where he went when even what was the oh God, it was a split with him and Rodriguez. Was like
Grindhouse,
Death Proof.
Death Proof and Planet Terror.
I'm kind of concerned about that in a way, because I don't know. I don't know if you noticed this, but you're watching the movies lately, and it all seems to be like another adaptation of something, or a reboot, or a sequel, and that in and of itself. I mean, even down to, like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did those little commercials in between that kind of looked really like drive-in kind of gore out, gore.
Yeah, like Machete.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah.
I
know. And
I just hope that somebody's going to kick Hollywood's ass again, and and do something like this. I mean, still, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, fantastic. I don't know how much more Tarantino's going to do. Wasn't he supposed to just do a certain amount of films?
I think he's only doing, 12 movies?
I don't know.
Or 10 movies? I think it might be 10. Yeah, I know he's doing like a limited number. But yeah, you're right though, because like so many, especially the big franchise stuff. I mean, they're already rebooting Batman again, and I love the Nolan Batmans, but I feel like there really needs to be original stories and just kind of new ground. And I think you're right. It's kind of discouraging to see, like, oh, here's another giant franchise, or another almost like everyone's trying to make a multiverse or do what Marvel did. And that's just kind of, I don't know. It's not really my thing all the time.
I understand, and I'm totally there with you. I just want to see something refreshing and new. Like, if I go look at my DVD collection, it's usually like the indie, obscure, weird shit that it's not the major blockbuster. It's funny. I talked with my wife about it, where she would ask me about, did you see this movie, that movie, this movie, and I'm like, no. And some of the really monster, those July 4th blockbuster kind of films.
Yeah.
And I just haven't. I mean, I spent like 20 plus years watching a lot of independent films, or films that are on the fringe more than the hyper popular ones.
Yeah. I'm definitely right there with you. We actually, I got a little, I say that I got a little marveled out, because like I watched, like, I've seen a lot of the Marvel movies, but I haven't seen one since Doctor Strange, just because I got tired of like everybody being in God mode and there's no real threat to any of the characters. And it's like, oh, they're going to kill someone when they want to kill them in the plot, but it just felt like I was watching a video game,
Yeah, totally.
And nothing wrong with it. It just, I definitely, I just got a little bit tired of it. And it's funny because I love the comics, but I felt a lot of big movies just feel so formulaic.
Too true, man. Too true. And, I mean, I know they're going to cater to certain audiences, whatever. You want the rom-com, you want the dramedy or whatever, you want the heart tugger or, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm curious because we're still in this state of flux, in the world with this pandemic thing, and I wonder what it's going to do for the writing process of different writers in Hollywood. I hope that it does something positive.
Yeah, I hope they come out of it and kick everyone's ass for sure.
You and me both, my friend. All right, so that was let's see, that was number 3. So 5, 4, 3. So now we're going to number 2.
Yeah, so number 2, and it's actually 2 people, but it's the Coen brothers are my number 2.
Right.
And they are just phenomenal. I like all of their work. Inside Llewyn Davis is one of my favorites, and then I love Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Big Lebowski is one of my all-time favorite movies. No Country for Old Men, it is like a perfect movie in my opinion. Blood Simple is phenomenal. Raising Arizona, and talk about filmmakers who go against the grain. I mean, they just do what they want, and they're just awesome what they do. Their writing is top notch in my opinion.
All day. Oh my God, they are truly incredible people, and just I love this when you're going through this top 5 because you're reminding me of all those movies that I got to see that again.
That's a great feeling, man. I love when I get that. We and Felicia talk about this all the time. Like, we got to go watch that. We got to catch up on this. So that's awesome.
I mean, even if it's like Fargo.
Oh man, Fargo is amazing. I can't believe I didn't mention.
What was the one that oh shit. The Serious Man. A Serious Man?
Yeah. That movie knocked your socks off.
Jeez, man.
Did you see Ballad of Buster Scruggs that came out on Netflix?
I did not. Worth it? Yes or no? I mean, I'm assuming yes.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It's great, and I won't spoil anything for you at all. But it's like set up as different, short stories or short films. It's like 4 different stories. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It's got the classic Coen brothers humor and really dark humor too. Very gallows humor. And it's got some great like hyper violence stuff, but at the same time it tells these great stories. So
yeah, that is a great, and I mean, granted, from the last conversation that we had, I think I know who number 1 is, but we'll get to that in a minute. But man, just going over some of their stuff, and even the idea of the Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah,
like that. It's such a we talked about it in a previous podcast about the dryness, and when Tim. Is it Tim? Was that one of the...
yeah.
Tim Robbins.
Yeah, Tim Robbins, yeah.
When he came and he showed what he... he showed the circle, and it's just a circle. And it's like, but this is it. And I don't know. I love
great.
that.
Yeah, no, that movie, I'm glad you brought that one up too, because that's one I need to rewatch. I've only seen it one time, and it was great, but I need to rewatch it. So thanks for reminding me of that.
Well, and you got to also think, man, Blood Simple. I mean, shit, they've been around for whatever. What is it, 30-something years now? 40?
Yeah, that came out in like 82 or 83, I think.
Quite a while ago, and like you said, Raising Arizona. I mean, Barton Fink, just too good.
Did you know that they were roommates with Sam Raimi, and they helped? I don't know if they're on set for it, but I know that they helped with the storyboarding and kind of the ideas of like the first Evil Dead.
I did not.
Yeah, and they're like really they're like best friends with Sam Raimi. Like they said that they talk to him all the time. I was watching an interview with him recently, and they were saying that he was trying to get funding for it, and it's either they were roommates or they lived near each other, but they were all getting together trying to figure out how they could fund each other's movies, and it's pretty cool just how much talent was in that group of friends.
Yeah, that is crazy, and it doesn't matter whether it's that or whether it's a band that where you say, oh, did you know that these 3 guys that are in like 3 different bands are now in 3 of the most popular bands. You know, it just, I don't know. It's sometimes I think greatness attracts greatness.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree on that.
All right, so we got to go to number 1, which I have a very strong idea of what it is. And
Okay.
maybe we could do a top 5 rundown quickly of the top 5 projects from this person.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. What is number 1?
Number 1 for me is Martin Scorsese. And
Wait a minute. Whoa. Seriously?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whoa. I didn't
He's my favorite director.
Oh,
Who are you thinking?
you know what? I got to admit, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. As I was thinking of that, I was thinking of a writer.
Oh.
And I wasn't thinking producer. Shit, you swiped me, my friend. Because of course, obviously, I'm thinking of King.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Scorsese, please.
Yeah.
Talk to
Scorsese, he's my favorite, definitely my favorite director. Some of my, Wolf of Wall Street is one of my favorites. Goodfellas,
of course,
is in my top 5 all-time movies. Not to go in another top 5, but that's one of my favorites. And then Taxi Driver is also up there. Raging Bull. I could, go on with his Gangs of New York's phenomenal. Departed. He's a master of cinema, and he's definitely my favorite.
It's mind-boggling to me. Even I don't know if you ever saw. Now, okay, full disclosure here, I never saw The Departed.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I lucked out. I saw it opening night at like the 12 o'clock showing,
right.
And I was in college, and it blew me away. I was just like, "Holy crap!" It's amazing. It really is. It's really, really good.
Obviously, I have to watch it. You know, my wife's giving me some crap about that because I got to see it. But that's one of the ones, and the other I'm kind of interested in. Didn't he have a hand? And I haven't seen it yet. Did he have a hand in Uncut Gems?
I don't know. I haven't heard that. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a hand in it, just because he does a lot of producing and stuff. But he was the last 2 or 3 years. I know he was working on. Did you see The Irishman?
I saw pieces of it, and I don't know. You ever had the that feeling where like I know I need to see this. I know it's a good movie, and somehow you just can't snag onto it right away.
I know how that goes, man. Yeah, for sure.
It takes some time for me to get around it, and I wasn't giving it proper credit. I guess, like one of those things like, oh shit, I really should walk the dog. I really got to do this. I was kind of making excuses, and I'm like, I wasn't ready for it, I guess.
I understand, and it's a long movie, so you got to be in it, if you're going to be in it, because it's like 3.5 hours long. So
yes, it is. Now,
but
okay, so your top 5, and that is number 1 for the top 5 directors, but for the top 5 Scorsese movies, we've got Goodfellas there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd probably go Goodfellas number 1, probably Taxi Driver number 2. It's tough. Number 3, I'd probably go Casino, actually. And then number 4, and I love Casino. Number 4, probably go Wolf of Wall Street. And number 5, this is a tough call. I'd probably actually go Silence, which came out a couple years ago. I don't feel like enough people saw it. I feel like it was very underrated. But that movie really, I read the book too before I saw the movie, and it really changed my viewpoint on a lot of things. And the movie is phenomenal. It's a brutal. Have you seen it, Silence?
I haven't yet. It's with the guy from the Star Wars guy, right?
Adam Driver and Spider-Man. What's his name? Shoot, he was in Social Network.
Garfield?
Garfield, yeah. Andy Garfield. And Liam Neeson's in it a little bit as well. But, man, that movie, it's a brutal movie. Like, the whole premise of Silence is that, Japan, I think it was for 300 or 400 years. It's based on a true story. They, shut down their border because they were basically trying to stop outward cultures from coming in and affecting their Japanese culture. And these priests, again, I think they're Spanish priests, are basically infiltrating the Japan, and they're like living underground these two priests hear word that their mentor, who's Liam Neeson, has been over there for 10 years, and he like renounces God in front of this entire town, and he like goes into hiding basically. And so they're like, there's no way he would renounce God. So they basically come up with like this 5-year plan to get over there and find him, and also spread the word of Catholicism. But then also try to look for Liam Neeson and see why he would renounce God in front of all these people. And it is phenomenal. It is a brutal movie though. Like, and not even necessarily that it's violent. It is very, very violent, but it's just in what they go through, and then also like the whole like meaning behind, like it kind of reminds me of like Western expansion in the United States.
Right.
Like, you don't think about the people that you're affecting until you kind of see it from different perspectives, and it's just a really great movie. It's I don't know. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely. Hey man, I appreciated that. Some of the movies that you've even mentioned, I have to revisit, because I don't know if you've ever done this where you're younger and you look at it through one set of eyes, and now that you're older, you've seen a little more, you get a different set of eyes to look through something, like when you look and watch a movie like Mean Streets or Taxi Driver, or shit, even Goodfellas, Age of Innocence. I don't know, whatever you look at.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. There's definitely been movies I've seen the first time and not enjoyed it or not understood it, and then I'll watch it a couple years later and be like, what was I thinking? This movie's amazing. I was as crazy as one of my favorite movies, Pan's Labyrinth. First time I watched it, I didn't enjoy it, and then I watched it. Felicia made me watch it again, my wife, and I was like, this movie is amazing. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just in the wrong headspace, I guess.
And it doesn't matter whether it's with movies or with music or with art. Sometimes, like, you have to clear your head a little bit to prepare for this. Like, I'm sure you've had it a bunch of times. I'm so guilty of doing it, where I was like, oh, you haven't heard of such and such a band? Let me put it on for you. Check this out. And I should know better, because, some people aren't ready. I just send them a link and say, listen to it when you can. Yeah,
for sure. And, I was definitely like that with one of my favorite bands, Radiohead. I listened to it when I was younger, and I was like 13, and I was like, what is this? But then I kind of forced myself to keep listening to it. And then by the time I was like 16 or 17, I was like, it was one of my favorite bands. But I definitely needed to be in the right space for it. I totally agree with that, for sure.
Absolutely. I can 1,000% agree with that. We've Radiohead's come up on a few other podcasts. You do what you got to do, and you take a chill, lights out, and listen to it, and see what you get out of it.
For sure. Yeah.
All right, Josh. Well, thank you so much for doing this top 5. We really appreciate it. We've got Year of October, Wastelands, October 9th coming out, and people can hit you up on Bandcamp, or where else can they go? Your website, yearofoctober.com, correct?
yearofoctober.com, yearofoctober.bandcamp.com, and you can check out the new music.
And until they release it, everybody go check out Black Widow. Send them a message. Tell them you dug it, all right? Josh, thank you so much, and we'll hope to talk to you again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
All right, brother. Later on.
Thanks.
the new record, Wastelands, is out now. Thank you so much, Josh. You can pick it up wherever you can find their music. I go to Bandcamp. Link is in the show notes. Head over there and grab one. Thank you so much to Ian from No Masters Audio for editing. And thank you to the sponsors. That would be all of the following. theswamprecords.com/doomtomb. Get in the Swamp Krewe right now. The link is in the show notes. Mucho Printing for all your band branding and gifts and presents and all kinds of great stuff. Head over to Mucho Printing. Link is in the show notes. And finally, Glory or Death Records, defending the faith. Link is in the show notes. Thanks, everybody. doomtombpodcast@gmail.com and doomtombpodcast across all forms of social media. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves, and don't forget to stay heavy.